the last thing I'll just say about North Star Rotary Youth Exchange Program is that we're completely run by volunteers, and we are a really dedicated family of people to the youth exchange program. We're really passionate about the experience for our students. And while a lot of other exchange programs are based on, people who get paid to do their jobs, we're here because we love it and we want to ensure that our students going abroad, our students coming from abroad, and our students returning from abroad all have all of the support and resources and the best experience possible going through this whole thing. We also have a really vast network of people that will support you while you're abroad, formed by your district. So you will not be alone. You will be joining the Rotary network as part of being in the program. So I will say, I just wanted to add that. So, but yeah, if any questions popped up, now is your chance. If you want to hear more, like I said, about culture, language, logistics, insurance, whatever you'd like, feel free to put it in the chat or in come on, go off mute. So
What does the interviews look like?
Eric.
The interviews will be held in one day on December 7th, and typically there'll be an opportunity for to talk a little bit about the program with Rotex who are at the interview day, and then there is like I suppose about a half-hour interview with a couple of interviewers who are involved in the program, asking questions that, for instance, like your motivation for exchange is a typical one. So, but yeah, that's what they look like. There's opportunities for the parents to talk with other parents who have been involved in the program to get some information there. And like I said, the country fair is an opportunity to talk to our inbounds about their countries and why they would want, why you would want to go on exchange in their countries.
Thank you.
Next question in the chat is, do a couple of people are questioning whether you get to pick the country you exchange with. And Eric, I'm also gonna allow you to answer that.
Well, you have what we ask you to do is fill out a sheet that has your preferences, which of countries, and you would list 5 preferences. And there's also an opportunity to list countries that you would refuse to go to. So in a way, you get you don't get to pick one specific country, but you make a list of 5 preferences of countries you would be interested in going to.
Lindsay, Hannah, do you want to talk about like a little bit about your experience going through interviews and choosing choosing what countries you wanted to go to?
Yeah, so my list was all Spanish speaking. Spain was my number one choice, but I know that's not how it works for everybody. I'm pretty sure my list was like Spain, Mexico, Chile. I don't, oh, and then I had Italy as number 5 because I don't know. And then yeah, I got Spain, and after getting Spain, I was really nervous about it because Spain was the one that was furthest away from home, but I wouldn't have changed it. So, yeah. And then back to the interview question. My interview definitely was not 30 minutes long. My interview was definitely way shorter than that. And it was just 2 people, me and my parents. And then they asked my parents questions. And then they kicked my parents out of the room and asked just me questions. And then, yeah, they were just like reading questions off a sheet of paper and then writing out down your answers, I'm pretty sure. It was way more nerve-wracking than it actually ended up being.
Yeah, I'll just say they ask you questions about why you want to go on exchange, if you really think you'll be a good fit, they do ask you if you have preferred countries that you want to go to or preferred zones. And one thing is some of the countries have age restrictions. And so because I was a gap year student, I was older than most exchange students. I was 18, turning 19 on exchange. So I actually could only choose from about, I think it was 12 countries, maybe a little bit less, just because I was older, because some countries don't want older students for a variety of reasons. And Spain actually wasn't one of the countries I could choose to go to because I was too old. But I just talked to Sarah, who was the chair last year, and explained, I have a good grades. I am a involved citizen, and I've been taking Spanish for 12 years. Can I please go to Spain? And she said yes. So if you have any doubts or questions during the interview process, just talk to Eric or talk to Spencer or anyone, and they'll help you out.
Yeah. I will just add one last thing just to comment on like kind of what Eric was saying. Obviously, like you do get to put down your preferences, and Rotary does its absolute best to send you to one of your preferences. I was fortunate to get one of those preferences, but I would say it's important to stay adaptable. Being a part of a youth exchange program is having a global mindset and being willing to experience the world for despite location. Um, and we've had students who have gone to Romania. We've had students who've gone to Turkey. I have a student currently in Lithuania, which may seem more abstract than typical Western European countries, or going to Brazil, things like that you kind of frequently might experience. But those students all have glowing things to say about their experiences, and I would just encourage you to keep an open mind as you go into this, because there is not a 100% guarantee that you will be placed in one of the countries that you put down. So that was just one last thing. So Julie asks, are the requirements for the short-term program similar to the year-long program?
I would generally say yes, but it's not you're not going to be attending school for one thing. But we still kind of look for the same attributes for students. We especially encourage younger students who might not be sure about doing long-term exchange to try the short-term exchange first. If you're having concerns about spending a whole year abroad, because that'll give you a good flavor for what it's like to live in another country and experience another culture. Yeah, I'd say they're similar. The requirements are similar.
Good questions. Anyone else?
I assume health insurance is just one of those things that gets navigated on a country by country basis, but
yes, most it varies from country to country, let's say. There are some countries that will require you to purchase their insurance. Spain is a good example of that. They have an insurance policy because Spain has universal health care. And a lot of our outbounds purchase one that's by CISI Bulldog, and they have insurance tailored specifically for exchange programs and Rotary that complies with Rotary International's requirements. So yeah, it can vary depending on the country. The insurances and the can vary a bit.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. One more question. Does the Rotary have means to help the students raise money for their trip?
Well, we have some financial aid.
Yes.
Sometimes Rotary clubs will help with some financial aid. And sometimes, Rotary clubs can be creative where they have students who get involved in their clubs before they leave and do projects, or, I mean, you could cook up a dinner and invite Rotarians over, a few Rotarians over for dinner, and see if they donate to your cause, something like that. There's ideas out there but that's something that I would suggest you talk to your Rotary Club. Obviously, odd jobs always are out there, or just having a job half-time or in the summer full-time can help cover some of the costs. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways for raising funds for your exchange.
Yeah, like Eric said, going to your Rotary Club can be helpful. And if you need help getting connected with your Rotary Club, please let us know. And then I would just comment that, like, for example, I worked at a cafe in high school. I knew Rotary. I knew being a youth exchange student was something I wanted to do for a while, and so some exchange was something I paid for by myself. And I, due to I at the cafe I worked at set out a donation box and just promoted the youth exchange program and why I was doing it and people could leave an extra tip if they would like, and so that was an option um, that I pursued as well. So I don't know if that's actually helpful. I just wanted to throw that out there. So well, anyone else?
Thank you all for your time tonight.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate everyone joining. Let us know if you have any other questions, but we hope that you'll consider our program. So